Middle, yeah, steady, that's great. Middle.
And center once again here, please.
And for my colleague, please. And one way straight.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Hello.
It's the last one. Not the last one.
Over here. Let's get.
Let's return.
Wait. Draw.
Hey, look, both of you. Get straight here. Just as well. Both of you. Get straight here. Just as well.
Et leur marraine, la productrice Marianne Slott.
All the way to the right, please. And then smile, Finn, right here. Finn this way. And Finn back.
Last one right here. Perfect. And everyone together on the right as well here, please. Thank you.
To your left, to your left. Angie, okay, so you go right. Together. Angie, to your left. One more. Over here. Marie, Phil, this way.
Marie, this way, oui.
Marie, Phil, s'il vous plaît. Look at the to your left, please. Go to your left. And Phil, straight ahead, please. Okay. Please. Look at me, please. Marie, Phil, Angelina. This way, please. Angelina. And look at me, please. Here. This way. Then over here to your left. And Phil, to your right, please. Finn, all the way to the right, please. And then smile, Finn, right here. And Finn this way. And Finn back. And Finn.
And sir, just to your right here, please. Thank you.
That's right over here, please. Finn this way. Here we go.
Buzz his head and he kind of looked like the guy who trains body. So that's fine.
gents, how you doing? Can I grab you for a second?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you for your time, I appreciate you. How are you finding this? How are you finding the whole press tour and kind of like reuniting with all your mates at this point, but in very different circumstances?
That's the nicest part, is reuniting with everyone, I think, and seeing everybody, like, you know, in things up. And yeah, that's the nicest part, and the press tour is just good fun, and to celebrate the movie is just, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, we got so close to this, and honestly, I think everybody knew the assignment, showed up, poured their heart out into it. Blood, sweat, tears, everything, and
now we just get to like have a beer and
be made and come out. And people are
talk about our war days together.
Yeah, our actor war days of sipping cappuccinos.
I looked hearing about the 3 weeks that you guys had to do as the training, and I know that was it like day one you all had to shave your heads together?
Yeah, we didn't have to, we decided to, but yeah. I mean, we mostly all needed to buzz our heads just for authenticity.
It was so long, and I did it day 2 because I couldn't see anything, and I was like holding a gun, and I was like, I feel like an idiot. And yeah, I shaved it, and Ray was very impressed, so that was cool.
Was that one of many, and was there any more like hazing or initiations that you guys did together, like to build camaraderie? Anything that you can point to, or even tell us?
Dinner. We had dinner. We did on 100 Navy SEAL burpees.
It was kind of like a men's retreat in a way, where like we were very competitive with each other. We'd push each other to work out harder, to do one more push up, one more set, one more rep, whatever it was. But at the same time, we were all very supportive and loving of each other. It was like such a.
I do remember, like, I remember doing a bench press and Evan being like, "One more, man." I just went, "No." Not one more. Yeah, that's it.
Never mind.
But like, we all really looked after each other because it was, it was a tough film. We had a great time. Yeah.
When it came to competing in the gym, naturally amongst the group of lads, there's going to be like someone claiming for that alpha position. Who had everyone's number?
There's one person who thinks they're alpha, and it's
Charles Melton.
Yeah.
Oh.
But he is pretty cool, and he is pretty strong. So,
he is pretty strong. Yeah. But who is alpha?
Nah, that's another question.
I mean, it's this guy, obviously. No, I don't know. I'd say, I don't know.
Can't tell. I don't know. No, everyone knows, man. There was none of that. Like, it was. How do we bring this back? There was none of that. It was great. We loved each other.
We love Charles. We give him a lot of trash, but he was a great leader. One of the leaders, Will and Charles, kind of led us through a lot of good workouts and stuff. Honestly, we were all very motivating each other, and everybody there really wasn't any sort of alpha mentality, which was also really cool and special. Like when we showed up day one, as you were saying in a previous interview, like you were nervous, I was nervous too.
Yeah.
Like you're showing up with some incredible actors, wonderful guys. You don't know how it's going to be with 13 guys staying in a hotel together, but like everyone really left their ego at the door.
No, totally.
Like,
that was really, really apparent as soon as we started filming. Yeah,
it was special.
Yeah, it was great.
My final question I've been asking everyone is, what can you do today that you couldn't do before all of this process started with warfare? What's a new skill that you've got?
I'll answer yours if you answer mine. What do you think I could do? This guy can shoot a gun. Really well.
And you could shoot before. So
you learned really well.
I taught Evan how to love.
You did.
And he taught me how to shoot.
Stay for the end of the credits because that's.
Beautiful, guys. What a note to end on. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy.
Straight ahead, please, guys. Check dive, you check forward to the side. Side. Looking here. Smile number. Mr. Bennet, right here, sir. Okay. Thing right here.
Yeah, and let's get a shot right here. There we go.
Ben, one more back to me.
Alright, got it, guys.
Ben, it's the dance back. There it is. Looking back, Molly! And guys together, looking really quick. Looking right here. There we go. And nice. And thank you. And release the solos. Right up top, guys. Over that shoulder.
And then the two of you looking right here.
And Anna and Finn. Anna and Finn right there. Great. Great. Guys right in front of you.
Shirley, one more time on the right.
Finch, you alright?
And Michael Ritter.
How did you prepare for this role specifically?
For this role specifically, I think the most interesting thing I did was I'm from London, so I have kind of no idea about life in Alaska in a broader sense. Issa, our incredible writer, director, showrunner, producer, so many things, but she had been to Alaska to research, and she had met this young guy called Peach. And Peach he's not from Alaska, he's from further down south, but he had moved to Alaska and had married a native woman. Prior, my character is married to a native woman. And I would talk to Peach just about how life was in Alaska, just to get like a picture of it. And I think at the start, I felt pressure to ask quite like profound questions about it. But then it just kind of turned into like, what did you eat for breakfast, Peach? Like, what kind of music did you like to? And I think that was maybe the most important piece of prep I did for this role.
And in that process, what did you learn about yourself as an actor, whether that was in the prep or on set?
I think I learned that nerves are a real problem for me, and I get anxious. And the way to be so good at this, like all of the ladies here and JD over there, is to be calm. And I think I learned to be proud of myself and carry myself with a straight back. And yeah, I don't really know. Confidence, I think. Confidence is what I learned to achieve.
And what was it like working with your cast members?
Pretty good. Yeah. There's no one in the cast I didn't get on with. I mean, I wouldn't tell you if there was anyway, but no, like seriously, there was like no one who I don't completely adore, and I'm so grateful I met all of them. I think it's really weird because I mean, it's obviously like there's a lot of indigenous cast. This isn't a world I would have had access to in London, and I can't think of any other instance where I would have met these incredible people and these incredible talented people. And yeah, I'm just very grateful to have worked with them.
My last question for you is, do you have a favorite moment on set or a specific scene that you were filming that just sticks out to your mind?
Yeah. We have this incredible first AD, Richard Gracemark. Richard, for anyone who knows him, always wears a uniform, and he will wear like a pop collar shirt, a vest and cargo shorts. And I think in the last week of filming, one by one, all of the crew started with like camera, then it became ADs, would all go and get changed one by one and come back in this uniform. And you were kind of like, it took me a while to, what's everyone doing? And then you turn around, everyone's dressed as Richard Gracemark. That really sticks out in my mind, just also as like a big like moment of like unity and how much everyone loved each other on set. It was a very happy set, but there's lots of moments, yeah.
He taught me how to shoot a gun.
Stay for the end of the credits, because that's at the end.
Yeah. Is reuniting with everyone, I think, and seeing everybody, like, you know, in Kings at Love, you know. And yeah, that's the nicest part, and the press tour is just good fun, and to celebrate the movie is just, it's great. Really
yeah,
great.
I mean, we got so close to this, and honestly, I think everybody knew the assignment, showed up, poured their heart out into it. Blood, sweat, tears, everything, and
now we just get to like have a beer and
be made and come out, and people are
talk about our war days together.
Yeah, our actor war holidays of sipping cappuccinos.
Yeah, exactly.
I love hearing about the 3 weeks that you guys had to do as the training. And I know that was it like day one you all had to shave your heads together?
Yeah.
We didn't have to. We decided to. But yeah, I mean, we mostly all needed to buzz our heads just for authenticity.
It was so long, and I did it day 2 because I couldn't see anything, and I was like holding a gun, and I was like, I feel like an idiot. And yeah, I shaved it, and Ray was very impressed. So that was cool.
Was that one of many, and was there any more like hazing or initiations that you guys did together, like to build camaraderie? Anything that you can point to, or even tell us?
Dinner. We had dinner. We did 100 Navy SEAL burpees.
It was kind of like a men's retreat in a way, where like we were very competitive with each other. We'd push each other to work out harder, to do one more push up, one more set, one more rep, whatever it was. But at the same time, we were all very supportive and loving of each other. And,
that's true.
Yeah, it was like such a.
I do remember, I remember doing a bench press and Evan being like, "One more, man." I just went, "No, no, not one more." Yeah,
okay,
that's it.
Never mind.
But like we all really looked after each other because it was, it was a tough film. We had a great time. Yeah.
When it came to competing in the gym, naturally amongst the drummer lads, there's going to be like someone claiming for that alpha position. Who had everyone's number?
There's one person who thinks they're alpha, and it's
Charles Melton.
Yeah.
But he is pretty cool, and he is pretty strong. So
he is pretty strong.
Yeah.
But who is alpha?
Nah, that's another question.
I mean, it's this guy, obviously. No, I don't know. I'd say I don't know.
Can't tell. I don't know. No, everyone knows, man. There was none of that. Like it was. How do we bring this back? There was none of that. It was great. We loved each other.
We love Charles. We give him a lot of trash, but he was a great leader. One of the leaders, Will and Charles, kind of led us through a lot of good workouts and stuff. Honestly, we were all very motivating each other, and everybody there really wasn't any sort of alpha mentality, which was also really cool and special. Like when we showed up day one, as you were saying in a previous interview, like you were nervous, I was nervous too. You're showing up with some incredible actors, wonderful guys. You don't know how it's going to be with 13 guys staying in a hotel together, but like everyone really left their ego at the door.
No, totally.
Like,
that was really, really apparent as soon as we started filming.
it was special.
It was great.
My final question I've been asking everyone is, what can you do today that you couldn't do before all of this process started with warfare? What's a new skill?
I'll answer yours if you answer mine. What do you think I could do? This guy could shoot a gun really well.
And you could shoot before. So
you learned really well how to do
I taught Evan how to love.
He did.
And he taught me how to shoot a gun.
Stay for the end of the credits, because that's at the end.
Beautiful, guys. What a note to end on. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy tonight, guys. Appreciate you.
Tu cries Miley bien fort dans mes oreilles quand tu m'entends. Je suis en mode Attends, eux, qui en fait c'est moi, t'avais plein de trucs et tout, des perles, c'était grave stylé, je te dis. On voit rien. Enfin, je me disais bien, il était où?
I've ever done.
That has been a representative
nephew. It's really going to go down in the history books. Obviously, Peter is a very big man, and I am a slightly shorter man. There are parts of that sword fight that are actually me. It's pretty cool. Where Dunk has this kind of brute strength, I wanted Arian to be really quick and aggressive. Add this like kind of angry flavor to it. Arian's slightly like an assassin. He has this horrible sword, honorable about the way he fights. It's clunky. It's meant to protect you. Lots of wasps. The wasps. We wanted to have the limp to our chair. You can sit down and pass a bottle of water back and forth. Barriers in my mouth that really suck. The kind of like harness on your arm was very much left behind.
No, he's got an allergy.
I really wanted to go. Yeah. People have done like fan art, and that fan art's going to be pictures of me now. Such a shit thing to say.
Aryan, I think they were quite keen to have that going with a full wig.
It's a good fucking wig, isn't it? Hot wig. Best I've ever looked in anything.
There was a plate armor take on a lamella.
Then his helmet. We played with
Zach, who was stunt doubling. We safe and set, but you know, Pete's like a big guy.
So hi, my name is Paolo. I'm with Sorrisi, which is the Italian equivalent to Entertainment Weekly.
Hi, Paolo.
So, hi. And so my first question is, how would you describe this show to somebody who has not seen a single lick of any of the Game of Thrones TV shows?
I would say it doesn't matter if you've seen a single lick of any of the Game of Thrones shows. This show is an unlikely buddy story, an unlikely friend story between two characters, one of which we meet after the death of his late master, Sir Arlen the Pennytree, who was not a successful knight, not a famous knight, but a very honourable knight. And our lead character, Dunk, was his squire. Now, Dunk's at a bit of a loss, and he decides to ride to the tourney in Ashford, and along the way he meets a very cheeky, cocky, mysterious boy called Egg, and their loyalty and friendship will be tested by the characters and situations they come up against.
You touched every single spoiler there. You were pro.
Media trained within an inch of his life.
Props to Scarlett. All right. Now I'm curious as to know, what do you think we are witnessing this renaissance of the fantasy genre? Is it just escapism? Is it because it's just cool?
I think. So do you want to answer? I think fantasy in Game of Thrones is quite a funny thing, because I know I spoke with George R. Martin at the premiere in Berlin, and he's a huge admirer of history. And I do think a lot of the stories that come out of, and the tales that come out of Game of Thrones could be compared to Shakespeare's histories. And there's all this political struggle, and everybody will do anything for power. So I think fantasy is the polishing touches that make it maybe more engaging. So I think that's why we're witnessing the rise of it, especially in the Game of Thrones universe, because it's just impossible to not love these stories that come out of history.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I was so captivated by your answer.
Great.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Great.
Right. Now, was it daunting for you as artists, as actors, to get into such a revered playground as the one, of course, as the Game of Thrones franchise?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's got such a massive reach, and the fans take the show so seriously, and they really, really love it. And you feel like you've got a big responsibility to deliver and to portray your characters in a way that will be remembered and it will leave a bit of a mark.
Lovely.
Absolutely. Now, do you ever stop and think about a certain part of this fandom who is not exactly very welcoming, or is very obsessed with the books and how things are supposed to be and all that? Does that scare you? Does that worry you?
Not particularly. I think the books are written by George, and George is a huge fan of our show. And that's nice. So maybe no, but I also think the fans are the magic that make this show what it is. You as an actor, do a little bit of work on a show, you go away and some magic happens, and then you have this adoring fan base. And we've met some of them in Berlin and then last night, and they love it. They really, really love it. So I think if there's any kind of criticism, not any kind of criticism, but I do think those fans deserve to have their voices heard.
Absolutely.
You can't criticize me though. That's off.
Now, the thing that I like the most about this show is that it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yes.
As opposed to its predecessors, who are very heavy, if you will. Do you think that's what makes this show so special?
I think that's what makes it special, as well as the central connection between our two characters, between Dunk and Egg. I think that's a beautiful perspective to look out on a very cruel and unforgiving world from. So I think that's kind of what makes it so special, is it's less of an ensemble and more about this beautiful bond that you're witnessing unfold.
Absolutely. All right, I think that's my time.
You talking?
Yeah, he was just fascinated by it. He was living.
I could only wish to be able to articulate myself the way you. Honestly,
nice
well
to
done.
meet you.
Nice
Have
to
a great
meet you,
one.
dude. Have a nice day.
That's some of the most surreal moments of my career, frame by frame. Okay, well, so this first image is Black Doves. It's a show I was part of, very lucky to be a part of a couple of years ago. And here I'm pictured in the car with Ben Whishaw and Keira Knightley.
two people who I've always watched and always admired. And I can't tell if this is actually on location or we're in a studio, but I do believe it's in a studio, and we had a kind of moving background, and the car was, you know, Ben was kind of pretending to do driving. It was a really long scene, and we were really trying to keep it together, and we kept on corpsing. It was loads of fun. They were both lovely, lovely people. I had a really, really brilliant chat with Ben once about kind of what he looked for in acting and what made him happy and what made him respond to a performance. That's a really lovely memory. This is a picture of me at the True Detective premiere with Jodie Foster, who we worked together for 6 months in Iceland. This picture is probably going to say anything more than I could possibly say. I was so lucky to work with her, and I'm so proud of that project. It was such a beautiful moment that we got to celebrate all of that, and HBO really pulled out all the stops for this. You know, we had throat singing, we had an ice sculpture, we had all these amazing people who made this show possible, and they made it work. It's a ridiculous smile from me. I remember when I first started doing prep with Jodie and everybody else, and Jodie, when I asked her, I was like, what should I be doing to prep? What should I be doing to make sure I'm ready for the role? And her exact words were to go out dancing. I don't think she kind of meant like don't take it seriously or anything, but she just wanted me to have fun and stay loose. And you know, if I ever got in my head about things, it wasn't kind of a case of talking me down or anything. She was like, don't be ridiculous. That's why we do too. That's why we go again. So yeah, a lot of love for Jodie. This is a picture of a man with a very bad haircut. This is me in True Detective as Peter Pryor. I had the fun task in that show of explaining things to the detectives. So when things were happening off camera, it was often implied that I would be like finding these things out and reporting back. And I think I'm kind of walking Jodie through some tax records here, or something like that. But I really, really miss this character. He was a lovely boy, and it was such a kind of beautiful arc. I really miss the people I shot this with. I'm still in contact with many of them, but I will never get another experience like this. I lived in Iceland for 7 months to shoot this. I had my own apartment. I, you know, had a whole kind of life there, and my apartment was right outside the hot dog stand, and I miss those hot dogs. Anyway, yeah, that's me as Peter Pryor. This next picture is a photo of myself, Marie Cologne, being handed our awards by Angelina Jolie. This was the Chopard Trophy in 2025, and I went to Cannes. I was filming at the time, so I had like 2 nights off, and I flew to Cannes. The flight was super delayed, it was super stressful, and I was kind of in amongst all the madness. And this was just the kind of maybe like one of the most surreal, bizarre dinners I've ever had just before this picture. Like, you kind of look over there and like Jeremy Strong is there, and you look over there and like Halle Berry's there. It was a fever dream, and I collected my award, I went to sleep, and then I woke up the next day and I went back to filming in Cardiff, and that was lovely. Yes, 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 yes. This photo was taken at perhaps 3 in the morning in a tattoo parlor somewhere in West Hollywood. I remember our hotel was there. We had like gone to the after party, we had gone to somewhere else, and then we were like coming back, and I was the only one that didn't have the tattoo. And we were coming back, and somebody looked around there like, it's open. And yeah, I guess, you know, that's the face of a man who thinks he's made all the right choices in life. And yeah, I went and got my tattoo, and I woke up the next morning and I looked at my kneecap and I said, oh look, there's a tattoo there. And yeah, now I have a matching tattoo with 12 other brothers, and that's really sweet, and I miss them all a lot. I mean, I literally speak to them all the fucking time, so I don't miss them that much, but yeah. We're all in a group chat. It's a very lively group chat. Also, if Michael Gandolfini is watching, it was a lovely Christmas card, again, Michael Gandolfini does a great Christmas card if anybody ever is lucky enough to receive one of those. Yeah, those, I share a tattoo with all of those boys. Isn't that something? This is A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, my new show. This was taken on the first day of filming, I believe. This is the first scene I shot. I had like come straight off warfare. I had like less than a week in between, and I like flew to Belfast, and I remember going in and they put my wig on. My wig would take like an hour and a half every morning, and I got on this fucking massive horse, and it's quite difficult to maneuver the cloak in such a way that when you get off the horse, you don't kind of get stuck up there. So they had to bring these little plastic steps out for me, and I'd kind of hop off my horse and they would do like a quick cut, take out the plastic steps, and then I'd be stood there next to Peter Claffey, who is a giant of a man, and I'm not particularly tall, but that was always funny looking at the stills from that moment in particular. And yeah, this show comes out this month, so I'm very excited. I did not know how to horse ride before the show, no, but they gave us all horse riding lessons, and that has to be my favorite part of the show. I loved the horses. I could spend all day I love traveling from one place to the other on the horse. You know, occasionally we just have to go kind of like round and round in circles, but like at the end of every time you could take it for a little trek. And I loved that. I really, really loved that. I would do that again in a heartbeat. No, I didn't ever expect that I would be a part of it. No, I guess I remember walking out the audition and being like, I've completely failed that. And then being amongst kind of all of those actors who are a part of Game of Thrones and a part of the House of the Dragon is a real, real honor. Yeah, I'm very, very proud to be part of that. This has been Frame by Frame with Man About Town. Thank you for watching.